What I mean is that the idea that you ever really thought there was separation can evaporate. Like, oh, of course there's no separation. Of course this is already whole. Not if you start from a me. Then there's no wholeness. And then you have to seek it. So that's the journey of the me. I don't feel complete. I feel like I'm missing something, although I'm not really quite sure what it is. But I know one thing, it sure ain't here. What I'm looking for, it ain't here. I was listening to Ariana this morning, and this is definitely one of hers, but it's so beautiful. She says, there's no getting to already. Meaning already what's happening, already my voice, you sitting there, the chair, the fireplace, the warmth, the scratch, the itch, all of us. You can't get to this because it's already happening. And so this is exactly as it is. If there's pain, if there's anxiousness, there's nervousness, there's peace. Last week at our meeting, I made the comment that the biggest argument the me has is that it says, yeah, but I feel like a me. I feel separate. You can't deny I feel separate. That's why I know, Nkosi is free, and I know I'm not because I don't feel it. And if I was free, I would know it. But the message here, there's already no one there. So you're not gonna, nobody knows. That's So that feeling of separation can completely be there, no problem at all. But the illusion is that there's somebody behind that there's a person that points to. That's the illusion. Nkosi put it so beautifully that I had to post it on Facebook this morning. He said, there's no one behind that thought that says, I'm separate. There's no one behind the thought. So you can have a thought that says, I'm separate. But if you look, it's just a thought, no entity behind it. So this is an open meeting. Everyone's invited to participate. If you have a comment or question, please feel free to unmute and jump in.
I'll jump in.
Yeah, please, welcome.
So I'm new and I don't really know you as the character well, but my first question, who's Nkosi? I've seen that, and is that you or is that?
No, he'll probably be here pretty soon, but well, geez. I mean, I don't know. He's the most, I mean, and this may sound like hyperbole, but really, he's a modern day Jesus.
Is that a separate character, like person, or?
No, it's a guy in South Africa that you just hear him talk. At our first meeting, people cried.
Mm-hmm.
Just his voice, just the place he's speaking from. I've never heard anything like it. That's why I keep posting all his sessions with Alice, because the stuff each week, I'm like, okay, well, this is it. He can't. This is the best it's out. This is mind blowing. And then the next week, oh my God. Like he finds new, fresh ways to talk about nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So would it be okay? I know I'm very curious if you'd be willing to talk a little bit about your own backstory. And I know teachers don't like to do that, or if you would call yourself a teacher, but I'm just kind of curious.
Did you have a specific question, or?
Well, yeah, like for you as the character, what, if anything, brought forth the, I'll call it the insight or the shift or whatever you might call it?
Yeah, I was a slow learner. Like I tried everything. everything. Like, oh my God, Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, Course in Miracles, Vedanta, Buddhism, non-duality, everything I could get my paws on that I thought could help get me closer to the final the final solution. You know, the big answer that would just put this thing to bed. And you know what? I never found it.
And was there any type of non-event or non-happening that occurred, or?
Yeah, the me that you were taking yourself to be, if you look, you could do it right now. Like right now, there's sounds, images, colors on the screen. And what's interesting, more than interesting, is you don't need a me for all this to be for all this to be taking place. Guyleen, I saw you had a hand up. You can jump in anytime. You have to unmute.
I just wanted to say something about the Nkosi, because what I particularly like about him is that it's like soft with not complicated words and full of love and peace. That it's not all of the speakers of non-duality that shows the same, you know. It's very deep in the attitude too. So it goes, wow, it's I really like, me too, I like it, the way he speaks about it. And it's not complicated at all with him. No mind, no. It's only this, this, and that's it. It's the message, just like you said, is just there is no me. End of the story. There is no me. Everything is there. Nothing is lost, but there is no me to interfere or just. I need some words now in English, but the me just veil everything and blocks everything. So it doesn't mean that we all feel well all the time. It's not, all the feelings are not wow all the time. The chemistry, the energy, the sound, the attitude, everything flows without a me. It flows the same way, but this is mind-blowing. That's it. I won't speak more, but and
Yeah.
thank you for having these meetings.
Oh, thank you. That was so beautiful. Just to piggyback on what you shared so beautifully. Yeah, what's missing is the sense of it being personal.
No. There is some remaining sometimes that just come back, and it's all, and it's this. So this is this. So it's come and goes like you're a wave, and then so that's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's nothing to search anymore. Nothing to search.
Well, I could add this, maybe to add a little more to Harvey, his question, is the sense of being a me, and it was in Nkosi's first comment that I ever saw of his. When he made a little comment on something I posted, he said, whether there's a sense of a me or not, this doesn't mind. And I'm like, what? Because so many of the spiritual paths, it was about, you weren't there yet if there was still a me.
Well, one of the things I resonated with when I think I either was a quote from you or it was from him, I'm not sure, but it came across as radically inclusive, and that resonated deeply. Like everything, like an itch on your elbow or whatever shows up is fully it or this. And that's where that approach, if I want to call it that, resonates very deeply because nothing is excluded. Absolutely nothing.
Beautiful. That's the resonance. That's great, Harvey. So that's resonance. If, like I said, it can flip flop where there could be a time where all is this just doesn't compute. You're like, all is not this, all is different. And that's just how it's showing up. But it can flip flop. And suddenly all is this becomes of course.
Yeah. That quotation that this doesn't mind, I think it reminds me of Jiddu Krishnamurti said in response to something, I don't mind. Like whatever happens, I don't mind.
Joyce, you're muted.
He said, I don't mind what happens.
Yeah, I don't know what happens, yeah.
There's no one there to mind, right? It's not that he's elevated and we're not. He's just pointing out the truth, I guess, on some level.
Right.
He's pointing out the truth. It's just not a truth I personally experience that much. But when even when you said that, Harvey, I felt it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we just say it's resonance. This can't be the mind, the me will try and hash this out intellectually, and it's very sexy to hear all these different teachings and go, ooh, this one's getting me closer. And, I'm really beginning to get it. But the freedom is that it's not like getting, you don't need to get because it's already here. It's just what's happening. So that's why.
No doer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, it just, the thing is, there is no you, no me, no doer. It helps for the clarity. If a teacher tells somebody to have an attitude or do something, that's when it's not clear. But when it said that there is one thing, there's no doer, and there's only energy or love or life as it is, with no one. Wow. But if somebody tells somebody, talk to somebody, this is when it get entangled. People stays in the impression that there is a me that has something to do. And with this message, the direct message, there's no one having to do anything. Everything happens all by itself, like an explosion. So this is the beauty, but that's okay. Just thank you.
I don't know why, Harvey, but you just really sparked something with your question, because I realized the other thing that's inclusive is before, when feelings were judged, you know, you have good feelings that you like, and you have bad feelings that you didn't want any part of and wish would go away, you know, the sooner the better. That's not there anymore. The bad feelings, the negativity, the judgment, the being pissed off, that's all welcomed. That's no problem. It's welcome. As Nkosi says, nothing is suppressed here. That's the freedom, because you were suppressing because you were trying to be spiritual.
Yeah, and if I like the term radically inclusive that you used, Harvey, and lately I have played with that to have everything be radically inclusive. It just, there is nothing more, there's nothing left, because nothing has to be resisted or pushed away or judged, or so it's a very peaceful state, a receptive state that is beautiful.
Yeah, and I guess I would say there's a welcoming, but not a welcome, at least the way I might see it. There's a welcoming, but not a welcoming as a to do or something that has to be done. It's just there, but it's not, because a lot of people say, well, welcome the emotion or welcome the affliction, but that's to me anyway, that's like a thing. If you do it, then there's going to be a result, and I think that reinforces the me. But the welcoming is it's just there. It's the
Like
or the acceptance.
Like an allowing for it to be.
Yeah, but not a volitional allowing. It's just allowing with no me to allow, I guess. I was going to share that that I teach college. I teach philosophy courses, and I bring a lot of what I'll call quote unquote non-dual philosophy into the classes, and I very often talk about the no me or no doer, but very often, of course, everyone says, okay, I understand it conceptually, you know, even if they understand it conceptually, but the question that always comes up is, but I still feel the me, Michael, as you were pointing out before, and everyone says, but how does the me disappear? And of course, I would say, well, there is no me to disappear. That's, yeah, it doesn't really fall away because there is no me to fall away. But still, the question keeps coming up, and you know, people will say, but knowing it conceptually is not enough. If that's really the case, then how does the sense of the me or the illusion of a me drop away, or whatever what appears to drop away? And it's hard to answer that question.
Well, it's impossible because it's already, like, you kind of are already lost before you play the game, because there's already no me to know it intellectually.
Yeah. So then does it become sort of a case of, I'll call it resonance at best?
Yes, that's the only word I pretty much use in Nkosi, and this is 100% when, because you know, you can't talk a me into not being a me. It's, what are you talking about? I have a life and I have a job and I have a, the me's got a whole dream world that it believes depends on it for it to, and it must continue. So that burden, but there can also be, and again, I love this. It's so direct. There's no one behind thought that says I'm separate. That's so beautiful. It's lovely. It's music because it's not discounting that there's a thought or a feeling that says I'm separate. It doesn't discount it. It's just saying that if you look, there's nothing behind the thought. There's nothing behind, there's no entity, there's no you actually behind it. That's just the feeling.
So maybe you could just say it's like an appearance, like the thought or whatever it is. It's just what's showing up, just like anything else.
Exactly that. See, but now, and Dan, you can jump in here. Dan, a meeting or two ago, we talked about specialness. And I need to be separate so I can, right? Specialness and separation go hand in hand. And as Dan pointed out so beautifully, it's not only that I feel special, but I need to feel more special constantly. What can I do to get some attention, some accolades? It's endless. This need for specialness.
Yeah, what I would say is the thing about specialness is that starts with a knowing what is special. That I know that some things are more special and some things are less special. And that already starts the whole me business. And I'll just tie that in with what Harvey just said about, well, or the idea, I see this very clearly, I understand it intellectually, but it still doesn't ring the bell. And that is because it's still a me who now understands, and that's not the problem. The problem is all this other stuff that I still know. Now I know, I see the this message, but it's everything else that I know is still hanging around, and it's all the knowing that's the confusion, because what's just here, what's just this, doesn't know anything. It doesn't know what's special or not special. It doesn't know what's good or bad, or what's better or worse. It doesn't know. And that's what the me doesn't, because the me, no matter what it knows and whatever clarity it has, it still has this whole business of what it knows, still coming from this, everything's going through the machine of what is. So yeah, to be not special just means you haven't learned about special or not special. I'm not, special and not special is part of it's a list, a program of things I know. Anyway.
Yeah. No, that's it. The knowledge is the me's currency. So the more knowledge, the richer. So that's why the me is constantly scouring, looking for tidbits, information. Just give me the magic secret, please.
And something happens where the knowledge just isn't interesting anymore. The whole bottom falls out of it. And that's when the me goes, because the me is just made out of knowledge, which, starts when we're born. Which just tells me what is going on, what is, and what to think about it, and how to get something from it or whatever. But just this is not doing any of that. This doesn't know. It's just here. And there's nowhere to go from just here already. Nothing to know. Knowledge doesn't get me anywhere to this.
I still do sometimes, so frustrated because Michael talks about things that he's experiencing. Good for you, Michael. But I'm not feeling that way.
Good.
And I've softened a little because I realize this me is not going to get it. Just so there's still frustration. There's still that everybody but me has it, you know, kind of attitude. But I know it's not true. It's just a story. And so part of me is more accepting, or I'm whatever, more accepting. But I do believe it's easier to talk about it when you already experienced it in your life. It's much easier. And it's still frustrating. There's still frustration. And look who's here. Nkosi.
Hey, Nkosi.
We need
Hi,
some
hi,
wisdom. We
Nkosi.
need some
Hello,
real
everyone.
wisdom in Cozy.
This a function of thought.
Can't hear you. Can you speak up a little?
Okay. Can you hear me? It's my microphone. I'm thinking that I'm thinking that isn't the big problem that arises so often is the thinking. It's the follow-up thinking, and that can go on forever. And so I think the reality that this is not derived from thinking. It's from not following up your thoughts, because that's where the trouble begins. Because there's no limit to what those thoughts can give you, can come up with to justify itself, because somehow it seems that that's all it wants to do.
How about the trouble begins when you don't want it to be that way? When there is somebody saying, I shouldn't be thinking, or if I'm still thinking, it's not good. How about with the principle of radical inclusion? What if that's all included already?
Well, it's already. You don't have to dwell on it. You don't have to carry it somewhere else and create another issue.
Right.
The noticing of even the one thought leading to another, because people, for example, saying, I want to either control my thoughts or make sure one doesn't lead to another, but that actually reinforces the sense of a me. At least that's the way I would perceive it. And so even if there is a noticing, not a noticer, noticing of one thought leading to another, that's it too. That is fully, even delusion or whatever you call it, is fully included in this.
Exactly.
Already.
And it isn't more. And it's free to come up with whatever. It's all this. It's all reality. And there's so much ego. Even my talking like this is ego.
As a matter of fact, no one is doing anything here. No one has ever done anything. And nothing is happening here. There's just this. It doesn't matter if anyone says anything. It doesn't really matter, because all is the expression of this. It's just this. There's really no escape. Even this discussion of the me that doesn't exist, it's just this. So there's really nothing to suppress here. There's really nothing to do. Already the separate me is not doing anything because it doesn't really exist. It's just an imagination appearing in this. So whatever that seems to be happening right now is just this wholeness, everything. There's just everything talking, asking questions, arguing, frustrated, confused. That's okay. There's nothing personal because there's no person here. It's just what seems to be arising in this. Everything is arising in this, as this. So there's no separation here. Even the sense of separation is just this appearing as that. Even the thought that says, oh, I'm separate. I'm never ever gonna be one with this. There's just a thought arising in this. And there's nothing wrong with it. Because there's no one behind that thought. It's just a thought arising. So there's already no individual here. There's no one who separates. There's already no one who's on the journey to become this. There's just this already. What seems to be a you is just what seems to be appearing in this. There's no real you. There's never been a you before. A separate you doesn't exist. It's just this. So right now, there's just talking happening. Nobody's talking. There's just listening happening, and no one is listening. And there's just seeing happening, and nobody's seeing anything here. So everything is okay. So whatever may arise, whether it's a question, a thought appearing, sound appearing, a sense of separateness, it doesn't really matter. All is this already. So what seems to be happening right now is not happening to anyone. It's just because there's no one here. And this right here is not trying to convince anyone, because it is seen that there's no one here. And this is not doing anything here. There's just talking happening. A thought that says, oh, I'm doing something may arise, but that doesn't mean that there's a real separate person who's doing anything. It's just a thought arising in this. It's nothing personal. So everything's okay. Everything is beautiful just as it is. Because everything is this. A thought may arise saying, I can't get this. Oh, I've got this. It doesn't really matter, because all is this already. So there's nowhere to go here. There's no path. There's no journey. There's no goal to reach. It's just this. Already. There's no escape here. There is no escape because there's no one to escape. There's already nothing. There's just nothing talking to nothing here. And there's no here. It's just this. So as I always say, separation is thought-based. It's just a thought appearing in this. There's no real separation. Thought may arise, but I'm separate. Well, it's just a thought. There's no one there. So this what comes up here. Yeah.
So nice to hear that the me is only a thought. Oh, there is echo, I don't know. And this thought is believed. It's a belief to be a me, and it's reinforced by everything that a me should do or not do, and the whole life goes around this nothing, the no me that thinks it's real. So no wonder why people feel so, they don't know, they feel bad because they're trying to do something with something that doesn't exist. So it's a good news to, to know that there is no me. Well, anyway.
It's like the waves of the ocean keep crashing on the beach. They keep showing up one after another, but they're not building anything. Nothing is being made. It's just the ocean being the ocean. But the me is always trying to build something out of these waves. But the ocean is already the ocean. It's already what it is. So there's nothing to make out of it. There's nothing to build on with all the waves. The me is just this program of trying to build, trying to make, trying to do, and it's all imaginary. But once you see, once that's seen, then that's all done, because it's already, everything is already what it is, and there isn't anywhere to go and anything to do except in the mind of the me. And then the mind of the me is part of it all too.
Yeah. So, like, if from a me, I would be listening to Dan trying to get something, trying to get a tidbit from the me. But as this, just that's the miracle. This is it. Nothing need be added. What are you going to add to a miracle?
And the me
It's
can't go, Gillian.
it's just like chemistry, you know, all the particles and the elements that they go together, and something happens out of this encounters of everything. So this system here is just a system nourished with, you know, with you tonight, and with everything, the environment, the snow, the hot, the cold. This is only like, it works all by itself. The only thing that we learned when we were kids, that, oh, you are someone and you're driving your life. It's only like a mistake, something that a false idea that we had all believed in. That's all. Because learning is you know, growing is growing by itself. Life happens, everything happens by itself. Feelings, you know, and everything, and it crush, and it you know, it change all the chemistry, even the emotion, the mind, everything, the skin, everything is doing its thing all by itself. So the me is not needed to do anything, but it's only like a mistake. I don't know, Nkosi, what you would say about the happening of the me and the believing of the me, but do you have an idea about that?
So there is no me already. And I believe that there is a separate me. It's arising from nothing. There is no one who believes that there is a separate me. There is no one who believes in thoughts that seem to arise. There's no one behind any thought that seems to arise, and there's no one who's believing those thoughts. It's just what seems to be happening. The belief arises in this, and the thoughts arise in this. So there's just nothing here, and there's nowhere to go. There may seem as if there's somebody who separates, or someone who separates, trying to reach this, but that's just what seems to be happening. There's no real separate individual here who's trying to go anywhere. There's just an imagination arising in this. So there's no goal to reach already. The one who seems to be trying to become this, or the one who tries to become this, is already this. The one who's listening, trying to get some words that will resonate, is just this appearing as that. Already there is no separate me who's trying to become this, or who wants to know this. What seems to be a separate me is just this. already. So that's why I say there's nowhere to go here, because everything is already this. There isn't any separation. Even a thought of separation is already this too. So everything is this already. And there is no me already who's trying to get to anywhere. There is only ever this. There's no escape. And then a thought may arise that goes like, but I'm not yet there. That's this appearing as that thought. That's wholeness appearing as that thought. And the one may say, I've got it. Oh, I feel peace. I feel so much love. It's just this appearing as that. No one has ever got this. No one will ever get this, because all there is this. And a recognition may seem to happen that there's only this, but there is no one who's recognizing that all there is this. There's nothing. It's just nothing, recognizing that there's nothing. There can never be any separate me seeing that there's just nothing. It's just nothing, seeing that there's nothing, because all there is nothing.
Any last comments or questions before we close out this evening?
Hmm. Something popped into my head. The thought or the question as a thought, when one dies, well, the me is gone, like everything that your body is. And so where is this after you die? I would think for oneself, you have become this, you have become the absolute, but you're not there to experience it because you never were really anyway. So when I go there, this idea that I'm coming up with, this thought, I feel confusion. I feel somehow I acknowledge the paradox there. And visually, I visualize the two demons that are at the door of the temples in Japan. One of them is, there's fierce warriors, and one of them is paradox, and the other one is confusion. And so imagine you just don't go there, because enlightenment doesn't have anything to do with that. But therefore, it still remains confusion, because I guess I'm too stuck with this body. And I know you can't just say this body's no good. This body is what works in this world, and you have to do a lot of things to safeguard it and make sure that it has enough support, food and love and companionship and everything. So it's not like, well, maybe you can't just totally put it away and just say no. But there is more confusion and paradox there too. I realize there may be no answer to this, because there's only this. But it's challenging to me, or to what goes by me.
Well, I hate to steal from Nkosi right in front of him, but I'm going to. The one asking the question is already the answer.
Could you elaborate?
The one speaking right now is already wholeness. There's no separate Roy there. There's no separate entity. There's maybe a thought that feels separate, but as Nkosi instructs, look behind the thought. Can you find anyone? Or is it just a thought?
It's just a thought. And there's the key. There's the answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for coming, each and every one of you. Nkosi, brother, thanks so much. I'll get this up on YouTube in the next 24. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Michael. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.